can stop me. No, you never can stop me. Better get out of the way, you get it, can see someone that you can watch me. There ain't no way you can stop me. No, you never can stop me. Better get out of the way, you get it, can see someone that you can watch me.
Yo, what's going on? It's D&Dre Talk.
Yes,
back
sir.
for another episode representing for the 99 at 2000.
Hey, bro. Oh, man. Our intro's good enough. We ain't got to do that. But nah, man, this has been a fun episode. I hope you guys really enjoy this one, man.
Yeah.
We start off this thing with talking about Martin Luther King, talking about what he was and who he was and what he was all about.
Yeah, and then I shared a couple stories about the new puppy that we got that we're all so excited about. Yay, and everything. And then about losing puppies and losing kids. You know, it's kind of, I kind of made a lot of dad perspective type of things today.
Right.
So, but it was
fun listening to you talk about it, man. And I really enjoyed, our conversation that came off of that. And I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation and everything that D had to talk about with the puppy. I had a Dre has something to say moment, though, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. I don't even want to give you a lead in to tell you what it's about. Just say no. That's all I'm going to say.
Dre had a lot to say, actually, and we ended this show talking about his service in the service industry.
Yep.
And that bled into a conversation about tips. What's a good tip, bad tip? Do you tip? Why do you tip?
Yeah.
And just some of the different perspectives from a server of someone that was in the service industry. So
yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed the dialogue and let us know if you tip or you don't tip. I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
But after this conversation you're going to listen to, you're going to have a lot of thoughts about it, I think.
Well, donate to D&Dre Talk.
Oh, yeah. The spirit of tipping is always welcome. I love it. We're going to keep giving y'all good service, good content. And if you guys want to tip us, you know how to do it. So I really appreciate you guys.
All right, y'all strap in.
All right, let's go. So coming off of Martin Luther King, weekend and all that good stuff, man, it really got me thinking, bro.
Okay.
Like, we celebrated Black History Month and all that, and we talked about Martin Luther King a little bit growing up, but if we were honest, I think we've lost the whole spirit of Martin Luther King as a whole, as a nation.
Okay, break that down a little bit.
All right, okay, so, Martin Luther King, people on that day, they always put the quotes on Facebook, Instagram, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the, not judged by the content of my character, color of my skin stuff, whatever it is.
Goals.
All that, whatever. Hashtag whatever. You know how these people do this on social media, right?
Yeah.
And they give him all the love and the flowers. It's really not about him. It's about he said this thing that I agree with, so I'm gonna post the thing that I agree that he said that one time.
Right.
But they ain't really giving no substance to who he really was as a man, right?
Okay.
Like all the things that he did and his active pursuit of nonviolent confrontational, things like, all the boycotts and protests and everything he was a part of. We don't use it and talk about it in a positive light. Protests have turned violent.
Yeah.
On a consistent basis. Anytime anybody reacts to anybody, the fights can break out at any minute. I'm seeing fights at football games and, any kind of sporting event, shootings all over the place, man. There's not a violence going on and a lot of anger and animosity that people have towards each other. And as a nation, I don't think we do a good job of really making sure that dream came through, not just on the skin color thing, because I know that's part of it, but as a people, right, we want to aspire to be something like Martin Luther King was, right? Like anybody who makes that big of an impact in the world, who's talked about year after year after year, you want them to, and their name to be what it's supposed to be. And I feel like we're on the other side of it.
Okay, well, let me say this then.
What's up?
Because I don't see it like that at all, right?
Okay.
I see it the opposite way.
Okay.
I think we are living in the fruit of the seeds that he planted way back then.
I don't disagree with that, though.
Okay, well, hold on. Because I want to say what I have to say clearly. Okay. So then we can see where the disconnect is. Right. So this is a great exercise for, people watching, people listening. Like, this is how you work through a conversation. Because right now it sounds like we're disagreeing and we might agree by the end of this conversation.
Right.
So anyway, that was brought to you by PBS. I wish.
The more you know. All right.
So with the what you do is you get together and you talk about it.
All right, you got off. All right,
Hello.
Let me help you get back where you was at.
Okay, yeah.
You was telling me why you feel like we're on the opposite side. On the opposite side of Martin Luther King.
That's what it was. So he planted seeds, and people that was with him, before him, around him, and everything like that were planting and were watering, and the generations after that they watered. And right now, if you look at what we have, like tangibly, how America operates, how we view each other. Okay, albeit everybody might not be in agreement to how we handle certain affairs and how we handle certain things and just how things move and flow. But there's some things right now that can't be denied, whether it be good or bad, right or wrong, which is we're seeing people of color in all different facets of everything now. It's not just the white elite people that run everything. There's been a breaking of the glass ceiling when it comes to stuff like that. So we're seeing ethnicities, we're seeing ages, all kinds of things that's represented with the dream that Martin had. So I think we see seedlings of it, and in some areas I think we see great fruit of it.
Right.
But I think it could be like a first wave of the total dream.
So I think the dream has been realized. Yeah. I think if we're talking about only the dream itself, right? Only that particular speech. And that thing that he's known for, which was one of the greatest speeches of all time, obviously, right? If we're only talking about that, I'm with you on everything you're saying because I agree. We are on the other side of that, right?
Right.
What I'm speaking to is like his actual life, like the person, Dr. Martin Luther King, what he was about. He wasn't just a guy who did some speeches. You know what I mean? He organized protests.
Right.
He led marches. And he stood against. Anything that he felt wasn't justified, like justice, right? He did anywhere where he felt like this isn't right, I need to do something about it. He was there. He was an activist, right?
A true activist.
A true, like real activist. And now that part of it, it just seems off to me. We're not really honoring him if we are. You know what I mean? The activists these days aren't doing it the way that they probably should. They feel like they can't. That's not going to work anymore, type thing, right? And then on the other side of it, if we're just talking about how to live and treat people, there's just a lot of disconnect with that. So I'm not saying that Dr. Martin Luther King's dream isn't realized. I'm saying, man, if we really celebrated Martin Luther King that day, that weekend, the way we should. Instead of going to the club for the, see the flyers of Martin Luther King on it with gold chains and all that. It just, all of it it doesn't seem as real as it should be. Obviously, we celebrate the things we should. But if we're trying to be the best versions of ourselves, right? I think there's some things we can look at.
I think an activist is only as big as his character, as his real perceived image. And I think someone like Martin Luther King qualifies as a real and true activist. And I think if people view the spirit of who Martin was, then they would get a better form of that picture. Because, and like I said, an activist is only as big as his character. So when it came to doing this work, this service, his reasonable act of worship is what I'm sure he probably called it, right? With his background and everything. The spirit of what he did was different than what we see. The spirit of like what you're saying, the motivating factors might be different than what he had nowadays. Yeah, when it comes to battle, it ain't always gonna be pretty. I think sometimes you have to conquer these little battles before you can tackle the big ones. Sometimes, so as long as you're making progress, then I can't really be mad because it could be a lot worse, right?
I mean, you can look at it that way. I'm not trying to look at things like it could be worse, so it's okay if it's not bad, if it's good or whatever. Like, at the end of the day, man, like I'm not all negative or all positive. You know what I mean? Like, I want to grow every single day. There's growing pains. It's difficult sometimes, but I also want to laugh and enjoy it every single day. Yeah. And there's something good about laughing. It's good for your soul, right? It's healthy. So, like, for me, like, that's why I try to find a positive in everything. I think your mindset is super important. Like, if you have a great mindset and a great attitude about life, it's going to rub off on people around you, right? And then they get to be full of that same life and energy and joy. And if you're on the other side of that and you want to live your life in a way where you're looking at things on the negative side, you're going to have a negative tone, you're going to have negative mood, you have negative body language, and that's going to rub off on people around you. and then they're gonna carry it with them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be careful about how your energy and be conscious of that at all times. And I think that's important for me. But you know, at the end of the day, like I still look at the world and go, man, I wish these things were better, because it don't gotta be like that. That's just where I be at.
But see, here's the thing too. All right, when you plant this seed of justice, as Martin had done, when you plant this seed of truth and all kind of stuff, what they don't tell you is sometimes a byproduct of this fruit growing up, this main fruit, it can have seedlings and they have other shoots of other different types of fruit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you having that passion, that desire, that debt, if you will, inside of you, saying like, man, but I wish we were better. Right. That's a byproduct of what Martin started.
True.
Or got on the shoulders of people before him. You know, there were people before him. So yeah, that's a blessing, bro. That's a good thing.
Man, did you ever go to, like, when's the last time you been to a Martin Luther King parade?
Oh man.
We're gonna go there real quick.
Okay. I drove through one.
You had like a truck that you was signs and stuff
no.
on?
I literally was driving perpendicular to the parade. I was trying to get on. Yeah.
Trying to get across.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. Man.
Okay, so you thinking what I'm thinking. It's kind of ironic that I don't want to go to a Martin Luther King parades because I don't want to get shot. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't mean to lead you there, but you know.
Come on, man.
Hey, man,
bro,
I get it.
You put me on the edge.
I did.
Okay.
I did, but
what
you know,
about
just
you
don't gotta walk the plank. Nah, it's funny because like I haven't been in a while.
Yeah.
You know, when I think of Martin Luther King parade, I think about when I was younger, when I used to go and stuff like that. And I remember being in DARE. Remember being in DARE program?
Yes.
We talked about that before, right?
Yes.
Listen, man, I'm saying that for a reason.
Okay.
I remember being in DARE, and I went for like the trips and whatever and all that stuff. I really didn't care about drugs because I thought drugs were disgusting.
Dude.
Like, you hear what I'm saying? I think drugs were disgusting.
I hear you.
My dad used to smoke cigarettes, like, and they be in the car, and he would go somewhere. Let's say he had to go to the grocery store or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, anytime he left the car, he lost his cigarettes because we threw them jokers out. It just was nasty. We had to sit there and smell that secondhand.
Can I pause you real quick?
Man.
I got to interject this story. Mike had the same story.
Oh, yeah?
His mom used to smoke cigarettes, and they used to hate it because they were like, we don't want you to be unhealthy, all this stuff. And she'd be like, y'all better shut up. You know, so what they would do was put water in the ashtrays. I was like, how... Anyway,
dude,
you can
like
proceed,
that's what I'm saying.
bro.
Like that, like it was so nasty, man.
Yeah.
The smell of it,
So cigarettes equal drugs to you back then?
That's the only drug that made sense to me because that's the only one I saw on a regular basis. So I hated it. But I was always making fun of people growing up. Like, man, y'all really got tricked into smoking cigarettes? Like, somebody told you that was cool and y'all believed it. Really? Like, how did that happen to you? Like, that's not even, it makes no sense to me. Even now, if you smoking cigarettes now, you really about that life. It's like, you know what I'm saying? You went through a lot to stay with that.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
They make a strong campaign though, bro.
Do they?
What?
No.
When I was young, you did not want to smoke a cigarette when you was young?
Absolutely not.
You never wanted to smoke a cigarette. Did you ever roll up a piece of paper and pretend like it was a cigarette and smoke that?
I don't think. Dang. I think they had the candies that look like cigarettes. Okay. I had them.
So why they made them for kids? They starting at an early age, bro.
Let me tell you something. You lead me to another point.
Okay, go ahead.
Dre got something to say, Tom. I'm just going ahead and go there right now. All right, so listen. These kids these days ain't got no shot because they ain't advertising cigarettes. You know what they advertising?
What's that?
These vapes.
Oh.
But they like everything you want when you kid, man. They're like, they taste good. They got flavors.
Okay.
Banana, cherry, blueberry, watermelon, mango. Oh my goodness, mango! Yeah. Like that sounds amazing.
They probably got coffee flavored ones too.
They probably do. They probably do because I mean, you know. People like coffee sometimes. I doubt it, though, because that's nasty. What are we talking about? Y'all know nobody drinks coffee for real. Or for enjoyment, unless you put like, that's 4 episodes ago.
Right.
Anyway, so back to my Dre got something to say when it comes to these vapes. I think these kids got no shot. I think that, you know, when you advertise these vapes or whatever, it's hard to be like, oh, this is bad because it's not cigarettes. Cigarettes, that's nasty. It just smells bad. It just tastes bad. Ugh, whatever.
Right.
But these vapes, like, this is like heaven for a kid. Like, what are you talking about? I can't wait till I can vape. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they have no shot. Now, I will say this.
Interesting.
Even though they don't got no shot, and even though Like, so I can understand how you can fall for vapes and all that, but I can't understand how you can fall for cigarettes.
Okay.
Like, I feel like to me, those two things, like, they both will harm you and both will hurt you. But at least it'll be fun. You know what I'm saying? when you got a vape. You know what I'm saying? With the vape. Yeah.
That's an interesting.
Dude, I'm telling you, but the kids got no shot, bro.
But like, who you see vaping though?
Everybody.
Is it like a cultural thing?
Dude, all young people today vape.
Okay. All right, let's go.
And some old people.
Well, okay, that's what I'm trying to get to real quick.
Okay, let's go percentages. That's what I'm trying.
So let me categorize them real quick.
Let's go for it.
So young white males. Okay.
So the ages of 25 and below, like 90% vape.
90%. Okay.
Yeah.
Young white females.
98%.
Dang. Okay.
Bro, it's
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Young black women.
70%.
What?
Yeah. I'm 25 and below. I said it at 25.
And what about the black men? The young black men?
Okay, that's lower.
Okay.
Like 60%.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's more races out there in the world too.
So you think at the end of the day,
my point is,
yeah,
a lot of young people vape, and I don't blame them. I ain't really their fault.
Yeah,
like
that's interesting.
And if you ever see them without their vape, it's a bad day. You know what I mean? But if I was in the vape industry, I'd be killing right now because everybody vapes and they don't last long. You gotta go get another one. You gotta have a battery that works. You get all. It's too much. It's a lot, and like, you know, it's not as frequent as going to get cigarettes.
Yeah.
But it's just as costly. I mean, it's just
well,
costly,
let me ask you this, though. Are cigarettes worse than vapes when it comes to just flat out side effects from smoking?
I don't know, man. I would look it up real quick on your phone.
Yeah,
but for me,
yeah,
they both bad, so what we talking about?
Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, I just had to get out my chest, man, because
So I guess we can give a little bit of credit to the younger generation for taking a staple in America, the world, but a staple, and improving upon it, right? And making it more socially acceptable to smoke.
I guess so.
Okay, that's a job well done. I guess so.
I mean, I know I'm receiving a lot of hate. You want to like have celebration for? Like, you just made this.
Yeah.
This bad thing.
Yeah.
Not as bad, but worse now because we want it more. It's like I guess it's smart for like business purposes. That's pretty much it.
So the way you feel right now, is the way that I felt after I got a new puppy last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You got a new puppy?
So the way you were just explaining that, like, yeah, we got vapes, but it's worse because we want to consume more bad stuff at a quicker and faster rate. Okay. So I was like, yeah, we got a puppy, but the puppy doesn't like me. What? So let me tell you what's going on, right? We were talking about this in another office quote real quick. Now, with this puppy, I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the puppy's birthday is the same day as my son's birthday. Okay. And the dog's name was Lulu, which is what we call my daughter, right? Oh. So I was like, I'm a little stitious. Yeah. We supposed to buy this dog.
Yes, it meant to be.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Who pointed it out? Did your daughter point that out, or did you come out with yourself?
No, we had to keep it a surprise until we actually had the puppy in the driveway. Cause can you imagine the meltdown, bro?
Nah.
What? Yeah. You promise somebody a puppy and you come home like, nah, we ain't got it. It's a wrap. You might as well sign them up for therapy,
so
right?
You just didn't promise that because you didn't want to.
There wasn't no promises to break. They ain't know nothing about it.
That's probably the smartest way to go about it.
Well, yeah. But they always have a way of figuring stuff out, which is kind of strange. But anyway, so we get the puppy, and I'm like, all right, we got to have it. And that's what I was calling you to see if you go pick it up for us. But we decided we just want to go pick it up ourselves. Okay. So Catherine went, picked up the puppy, and then we surprised the kids and brought it home. And, my kids are never overly excited about anything. So they both looking like they knew before I did type of look like, you late. I'm like, dang, can y'all act a little bit excited? This is like, y'all been talking about puppies for 12 years. Yeah. We finally got one, and there ain't no enthusiasm throughout the house.
Nothing. Wow.
Anyway, so, all right, that's cool. Well, now that we got a puppy, I got someone that I could to help ease my pain and stuff like that. Because who don't like being around a puppy? Yeah. Joyful, fun, you playing catch and stuff. It's like sunshine like in your pocket, bro. Like, it's the greatest thing ever.
All right. Can I
A puppy?
I know. This is the fact that I'm even going to like rebuttal a puppy is not. I know.
You can't start 2023 out like that, Dre.
Man, look, bro. I just gotta say what I gotta say.
And the villain of
so
the
like
year.
everybody likes puppies. Everybody likes kids. Until
you about to like Mike Tyson, bro. Until
like,
you get punched in the mouth.
Until like the bad stuff happens, man. When you gotta train the dog to not use the bathroom in the house and all that stuff, man. And then you don't know when the dog the dog has a long adjustment to make, and the puppy stage is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, man. It's just not that easy. And then you got to think about, you know what I'm saying, for a kid's perspective, like when you have kids, you think it's all beautiful until you can't sleep at night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got a lot more responsibilities than you ever thought. Your whole life revolves around this thing now. And like having a puppy taught me, okay, if I ever have kids, I got to be ready because I had to be. I was not ready. I was not ready for a puppy when I first got a puppy. And a lot of kids have kids early, and I'm like, yo, you ready for this? You ready for that much responsibility? I know 40-year-old men who don't have responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm just saying like, that's my rebuttal. It's not that bad, but it's
I see you. I mean, you don't got no kids, do you?
Nah.
Okay.
I don't think so. I hope not.
Here's the thing. Here's the magic of having kids. Mm-hmm. Whether you like your kids or not, just being honest.
Because whether you like your kids or not, is that a real
you don't
sentence?
like your kids. What?
People don't like their kids.
I've always liked my kids, but
you know what? That's a lot of therapy that just happened for me. I need to hear
that. Just think about it. There are other kids that sometimes you.
Yeah.
So they could be you cannot like your kids at certain times.
Okay, I'm just sure. I don't know.
That's where they get it from. Like, I hate you, Dad. I hate you, Mom. Which you hated them first. Oh. Ooh. Okay, so
you're gonna get canceled, bro.
Yeah. So anyway, we got the puppy, bro, and I'm just like, I'm glad we got a puppy, and it's gonna be fun and all this stuff. Having happy days ahead of us and everything. And off rip, I'm the least favorite person that the puppy likes. And it's very annoying to me because it was my dream to have a puppy that I can just, and all this stuff. But there's so much disdain, and I don't know why. And what's worse is sometimes she'll get closer to me, and we have a good time, and we be playing and stuff. But I think during those times, she's really just tolerating me.
Really?
Yeah, to everybody she likes leaves, and then she show her true colors, and it's like, it's me and you. And it's scary, honestly. It's scary.
Weird.
But she's just a puppy, so I'm thinking she's still trying to, figure things out in the world. But she's super cute, though.
That's cool.
Yeah, we named her Cricket.
Cricket?
Yeah.
Who named her Cricket?
So it's a backstory. So the dog is an Australian blue heeler.
Okay.
And it's mixed with something else. Anyway, it's known as a Texas blue heeler, but it's originally an Australian dog. So the day we got the dog, we was like, let's see what's going on in Australia that's important on this day. And it's a day where they do like a lot of they play cricket and do some boxing and all kind of other stuff. So we got there.
When you say cricket, you're not talking about the insect, you're talking about the game.
Yeah, I'm talking about the long-winded game. Anyway, man, but she's starting to warm up a little bit. She's just so feisty right now. But now, man, do you miss having a puppy in your house?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
I miss my dog.
Yeah.
I miss my dog.
Man, I miss my dog.
Charge. You know what I'm saying?
You and me go.
Yeah, man, I miss having a dog. Because, I mean, there's certain routines that get built in to my life when I have the animal, you know what I mean, around. So that I missed all of that, and I miss all the interactions and the fun, and the random cuddles that aren't expected, and the dog is dependent on you. You are the world to that dog. You know what I mean? So that's a whole thing. That relation. That's why they call him man's best friend, because there's this need for each other. You know what I mean? That you kind of develop. So yes, I do miss that. But I also don't miss it. You know what I mean? I'm also like, yeah, man, those were good times. You know what I mean? Back then when I had the dog. But, if I dwell on it too much, then it gets like, man, not gonna get another dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get another dog to replace a dog, because you can't replace. I remember my first dog. Yeah. I remember.
This is what I was trying to get to right here.
You about to get me in. You set me up. Oh.
We got there.
Yeah.
So what's your first dog like, man?
Yeah, man. It's my buddy. His name was Fluffy, right?
Okay.
Because I was not that creative to come up with Cricket at 5 years old. We pulled up, He got the dog from the neighbor down the street when we lived in the country. And, you know, the dog was fluffy, and then like it was just so like comfortable. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like it wanted to play with me all the time, and I felt like, okay, this is fun. I can run around, I can play with the dog. So me and Fluffy hung out, and that was like my dog. You know what I mean? Until he passed one summer when I wasn't even home.
Dang.
Oh man, that still hurts me.
Yeah.
To get that call. Like I've been through a lot of deaths, but that one hurt. Like your first dog passing away.
Yeah. That's
a different kind of pain. I remember, you know, other friends, like their dog died and they cry like hysterical. I'm looking at them like, what's wrong with you? But that ain't what happened to me. Like, I remember that. So now for the rest of my life, I'm like, okay, those connections are super important. You know, I remember Fluffy, we were real tight. He been through a lot. Every summer I left, something happened to him. So I'm not blaming nobody.
Yeah.
Just saying. I went away all my summers were in New York, right? So I was in New York for a summer. He lost an eye. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like, what? Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? And then I come back, you know what I mean? I'm back, you know what I'm saying? He's still Fluffy. We still cool, you know what I'm saying? You know, then he hurt his leg when I was going for another trip, like a little football trip or something like that. A little football camp I was going to for a week. Then I come back home and I go back from New York or whatever, and I get the phone call that he died. Like, what's happening when I'm gone? How's this?
Oh, I'm not laughing at you know.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm telling the truth.
But see, okay, so here's the thing. It's like that country song. That's why I love country songs, bro. When it comes to this type of love.
What country song you talking about?
So the lyrics say, when tough little boys grow up to be dads, they turn into big babies again. So your first puppy makes you a master, right? But now because of your puppy, you're a baby also. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's my baby, you know, and then so he was saying that about, you know, fathers having kids and stuff like that. Tough little boys grow up to be dads, they turn into big babies again. And that's what makes it all worth it, having kids and having animals also, you know, because like if you've experienced it as a parent, then you see this stuff a little bit differently. That's the point I was trying to make.
And that's a good point. I mean, you see the you know, dog mom hats and all that stuff like that. That stuff is real. Yeah. Like those connections are super real. That's why the whole world went crazy with Mike Vick's situation. I'm just being real.
That's true.
That's why, because it was just like those connections are deep, and I know it is. It was different for me growing up watching that environment. Yeah. You know, the whole Mike Vick situation. I watched that environment and seeing people, you know, had these dogs like that. But, you know, knowing both sides of it definitely brings some clarity to the other side. I was like, wow, that's real painful. Yeah. Like, the people have to go through that. Right. But, yeah, man, I'm glad you got a puppy, though, man.
Yeah, man.
Very interesting name, Cricket. Y'all different over there, huh?
Yeah, we just a little bit different, you know.
Y'all different.
I'm just trying to just stay level par with them. They always on some, they just so brilliant and bright. And I'm just, right now, I'm still the father, and I still have the most respect in the house. But like once they really, really figure out that they smarter than me already, then I'm gonna have to just be.
Then what?
I'm gonna have to just, I don't know.
You just gotta be the old man saying like a bunch of like
wise stuff,
parable stuff. You know what I mean? And say it like it's something like you heard a long time ago, even if it's new. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because anything old already has like value and worth, right? So experience. So that's the only thing I got on them right now is experience. Yeah. So I tell them stuff. They don't know whether it's true or not. They don't know what the real sweat equity was about it, but they are invested. Like, oh man, that's how it was back in the day. Absolutely.
That's how it was.
You know, but they don't make them like that no more.
Yeah. That's what old people have, man. Yeah. You ain't never had an old man like talk to you and tell you a story. Like you missing out on life.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
It's a great human experience because that's one thing that we can do that animals can't do. Right. I don't think anyway, but we can sit down and pass down stories and traditions and have these moments and experiences which create an environment of a whole other type of love that I don't even know if we have a word for. You know what I'm saying? Like that communal, tribal, and it's going to sound derogatory when I say this, but you'll get it if you really think about it. But that cult drawing type of love, you know. And I know that sounds crazy, but you think how most cults, when they first start, it's all about love and togetherness and all this stuff. And there's like a thing where all of us are from different places and situations, but we are choosing to be here to experience each other in a deeper way right now, you know. So anyway, I think it's deeper levels to it, but yeah, it's definitely necessary. But one thing I was gonna say though was the dog was aggravating me, and I was hoping, because whenever I take the dog out, they always have the leash, and I'm like, all right, the dog, let it go, dog, pee and do his thing. I don't never take him out with a leash. I just let him just try to do his thing. So if the dog get lost, then he's for the streets. Let
me ask you this though: if the dog liked you, would you use a leash?
I wouldn't have to. Okay, I wouldn't have to.
The dog will automatically come back.
Yeah, okay. Why would you run?
No, I mean, okay. If you feel like that's where you want to be, maybe you want to explore. Maybe you want to see the world a little differently.
Nah. Okay. Here we go. Another thing about being a parent, you can tell I really don't care about this dog, because if it were a child, and I lost a child, like, have you ever, bro? Like, that's the whole thing. Okay? So check this out. Matter of fact, this past Sunday, I was at church. I was doing security at the church, whatever. They let me have a little radio, and we all on the squad, a team. Man, we doing laps.
Y'all got, like,
Anyway, you got to protect the babies.
Yeah, I get it.
That was the pitch.
I get it.
So this lady that I know, her and her family, comes up to me. She was like, "Hey, I'm trying not to sound like I'm completely panicking right now, but I can't find my middle one. Have you seen her anywhere?" I said, "I'm sorry, I have not, but I'll help you find her." So then I see her husband running up and down the rotunda, and it's like real panic setting in, because we're in this big room with all these people that we may or may not know on a Sunday morning, when a whole bunch of people look alike and a whole bunch of people can get lost in the crowd. Yeah. That's a real thing to think about. Yeah. So it's like, where's my baby? And before things got too crazy, she found her, and the first thing she said was, "I'm about to beat her behind." I was like, okay. See, back in my day.
Back in my day stuff.
But that's funny. Man, that happened to us one time at church. Yeah. Man, I can't tell you you ever wake up from a night terror and it feel real, and your ears are ringing, breathing and you hot and breathing hard, and just like, that's how it feels when you lose a child. Man. It's so crazy.
The thing about, like, I guess I get it, you know what I mean, if it's a young child, right? Like a real young child, but like, once you like 10, for me, it was probably like 8. My mama was just like, like, we would just be gone. Like, ain't no finding us. Like, we didn't have cell phones. You couldn't put like a air tag or whatever you call it on the phone. I can find my child button, push and thing. None of that was possible.
No Amber Alerts,
nothing. You just had to hope that the dude came back. You know what I mean? But as long as you fed him and, I don't know what it was like. I think the times have changed drastically when it comes to that, because losing your child at that early, like my time, like when we were growing up, it was just, have you seen, he'll show up, he coming. Like, he ain't fool. He gonna come on when the light come on, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And right. I mean, I don't know if that's different.
There was, I guess there was, I think we had a little more reason to trust back then. Right. I don't know. Or maybe we were just a little more ignorant. Yeah. Either way.
Yeah, I mean, I like those times.
Yeah. But
I understand.
That's the worst terror. That's the worst feeling I've ever felt in my life.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. Especially, oh, man. Like, y'all had is there like a lake back there and all this stuff? You don't know what could happen. If somebody could have picked them up.
100 acres of land.
Yeah, it's just, man. Yeah, that is scary.
Now, so I was thinking about that, and then I was like, man, my brother and I used to try to get lost anytime we went into any store. Yes. And it was 2 of us, so no wonder my mom used to wear us out. Yeah. What?
Yeah. There was just like these understood disciplines, and like, you better not do that. Type situation. You didn't have to talk about what would happen. You knew. Yeah. All right, I'm not gonna mess this up. Like, I'm not. That's enough. Like, you don't got to give me like the lecture and give me the backstory. And you got to like, I really love you, and because I love you, I need you to understand. It was none of that. It was, go ahead and do if you want to, see what's gonna happen. Like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. Like, it was all fear based. Like, whatever. Like, hey, like, nah, it's not working. Like, you had to make decisions. That's the thing. That's the thing though that I like about it, because you had to make like calculated decisions. You was like, okay, is it gonna be worth it for me to not do what this person said do? I don't think so. I think I'll just do what they said do.
And it was a quick decision too.
It wasn't. I mean, but like that's the thing. Like, you learn your whole life. We went from a baby. You know, when to say no, like we said earlier, right? You know, how to, what we don't like, what we do like, and we can make decisions because we make decisions the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, this is not it. This is it.
Yeah, you know, because I learned that early. Like, I never got a spanking for doing something I wasn't supposed to do. I always got spankings for doing too much of something out the way. You know, it's like, you fell in this class, you know what I'm saying? Or we broke something in the house, like, I knew what not to do.
I knew exactly what was going to happen when I did what I wasn't supposed to do. Man. Even when I was about to do it, I was like, man, this is not really the best decision. But
so check this out.
As long as I cannot get caught, I got caught.
See, and that's the thing. Me and my brother were in the house one time playing. We weren't even playing catch in the house. We was throwing the ball at each other in the house, like playing tag with the ball. So my mama got this brand new China cabinet, bruh.
Oh, no.
Me and my brother at the other end of the house, I got a tennis ball, threw it hard as I could, threw a curveball, hit the glass, and broke. Bro, my world ended. So check this out. Yeah. This was my legit game plan. I might have been 9 or 10 years old. My real life forever plan was to hide behind the couch. That's what I did, bro. I got my sleeping bag. I got some crackers and some cheese. Yo. Hold on, real talk. Crackers, cheese. I had one of them. Yeah, I had one of them squirt bottles that you put on bicycles with water. I put some juice in there.
Remember the cartoons where, you know, the cartoon character or whatever would get a bandana and put it up against a stick and then just walk down the street.
That's
type
pretty
stuff.
Much what that was.
Yeah, I had a cousin do that before.
What?
Bro, his parents were strict, man, and he was just like, man, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Like, packed him a little suitcase bag, whatever, and just legit got up and walked out the house and thought he was gonna go somewhere. Like, bro, what? Like, that's some crazy. Like, that's a bold statement. To believe I can survive out here. Like, nah, man.
Bro.
I'm good, man.
Yeah, you ain't gonna catch me. Nah. It was evident at an early age that there's some things that you just don't do.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's all I needed.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, that's all we needed back then, you know. I feel like it's interesting now, though, because, as you know, I've coached for so long, and, you know, growing up, being coached hard is the way we were coached, and how tough it was, and playing, you know, with different coaches and always being kind of the same thing, and then meeting new coaches and their different styles or whatever, and like these kids, they needed to understand why they wasn't just going to do stuff just because you said so, and learning how to adjust to that. As I became a coach, I always knew that I needed to connect with the kids as much as possible to teach them. And if I can convince them to believe in the things I'm saying, they're going to be successful. That was really my method at the time. But like, I had to learn every kid is not the same. Like, you got to break things down for them because that's how their parents talk to them. And like, you know, that's not how we were raised at all. So I had no clue. Like, okay, I'm supposed to tell you every detail, like, of everything, and then let you make a choice after you have all the facts. I never got all the facts, like, ever. Dang. So yeah, it was just like, just trust me, like, you know, and I'm not saying like that's the right way to go about it, but man, like, when you can trust somebody that much where you don't have to know everything, that's a whole nother different thing right there. So, I mean, that's why being coached and understanding, like, okay, I know their intent, I know their heart, I know their experience, I understand their vision is different than mine, and they got a view that I don't have. I'm going to let them coach me, and I'm going to put my best forward and see that connection is very important to me. Yeah. I've always enjoyed that. I think that's important for people to play sports because of that reason. I think, you know, with other reasons as well, obviously connection and, you know, you putting a bunch of different people from different backgrounds in one room and helping them achieve one goal. That's a beautiful thing. But also the discipline that it instills in you and the trust levels that you learn and things like that when it comes to, like, you know, relationally, how to build people and how to grow people. I think that's a thing that you learn playing sports that in the other side, in the real world, you don't really get those opportunities as often. So,
Well, let me ask you this, because you're not coaching right now, right?
No, sir.
So if you were independently wealthy, like, you know, $5 billion and had every toy that you wanted and could do whatever you wanted to do and had an opportunity to coach, would you do it?
Yes.
So you miss it?
Yeah, but, you know, that's not a profitable job for me at the moment. Like, it just doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah. I'm just talking about just this.
But if that wasn't in question, absolutely, I would love to, because, you know, there's a connection that you build, you know, with these kids that you can't explain it.
Yeah.
You know, like I love building relationally anyway, but coaching's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. It's just a little bit more intimate, a little bit more, I don't know, it's special for me because I like seeing when, you know, the light bulb comes on. I like seeing when people buy in. I like seeing people come together. I like seeing people, you know, compete and work hard. And, you know, like when coaches care about their kids, you know, it makes the entire experience different. You know what I mean? I can't tell you, man, every year I've coached, there's a group of kids that had my heart that year. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, they're all growing up and doing their own thing right now, but I'll never forget those moments that we had together. And some of them feel the same way, you know, when it comes to, you know, the times that we did have together when I was coaching them. So it's a beautiful connection, man. Beautiful relationship.
I think being a coach, being a teacher, any secondary, quote unquote, parenting type of role is a very special role, an important and necessary role in society that when and if done right, can produce some of the best topsoil for generations of neighborhoods and cities to really grow and flourish, to make the bedrock of all of our societies strong and solid, right? Right. So I have to commend all these coaches and teachers. Some of them I loved more than others. Yeah. Some of them I knew didn't know what they were doing, which was frustrating. Yeah. You know, and the only reason I knew that was because I came from a line of good coaches, I believe, and everything. But I don't do a whole lot of coaching, and I've been influenced more by coaches probably than any other entity in my life. Right. And it's a wonder that I didn't try to pursue that route, you know.
Yeah, but, I think that, you know,
I'm still young.
You still got time. I mean, and I'm sure if you had the opportunity to do it, you'll do it, and you'll see what it's like. It's different, man.
Once you get in it,
and especially when you like know the game and the people really well. You know what I mean? Like knowing the game, knowing how to coach, because everybody can't coach. I mean, like it's, and you could tell. You could tell when people are trying to coach, if they got it or not. Okay. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, like anywhere else. I mean, you could tell when people are like, oh, okay, they thought about it and they went through it and whatever, and they rehearsed it and they practiced it and they went into it, and it's like, yeah, that's not what I thought was going to happen. Like, coaching's a thing where you have to be like on purpose, on time with everything, but you have to be flexible because you don't know what you're going to get from the other people involved. Yeah. And you got to be able to communicate through all of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And being authentic, being real, and not forcing it, people can tell. And if you forcing it, they're just like, man, this dude know what he's doing. Immediately, they're like, you're done. I can't. You don't know what you're talking about. You just winging it, whatever it is. You got to know your stuff. Right. And you got to know people. I mean, you know.
It's such a huge responsibility because some of the things that you're imparting in these people who have or are supposed to have complete openness and trust with your knowledge and experience, you could be setting them wrong for life, and it can extend past the playing field. It could be anything. It could be everything, right? So to call yourself a teacher, a master, or an educator, or whatever you want to call it, and you out here like with stolen valor, tricking people for money or for whatever your ego, like, come on, man, like
it's not good. And I think that's important to be talking about, but it's also important to mention, even if you know it all, it's not going to matter if you don't know how to like connect with the people you talking to. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That is a realist statement I've heard growing up, and it stands true all the time. If you show people that you are really compassionate, you really do care, like then and only then will they actually listen to things you have to say. Most people are like, they got a wall up. They don't want to hear anything you got to say. They don't trust you. They have been burnt before, right? They've been hurt before. There's plenty of people who, let's say in the dating world where you got to pay for the sins of the people that came before you. And that can be in any conversation. I'm saying dating because it's easy to see that relationship, but it's in all conversation, in all walks of life, in every, professional or social environment. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't show you actually care, people aren't trying to give you the time of day.
And in the same vein, kind of the spirit of what you just said is a saying that I've read recently. I think it's Alice Hormozy said, "Would you rather be right or would you rather be rich?" And if you think about it, it doesn't always have to be monetary riches. Right. It can be relational riches. It could be those intangible things like peace and stability and stuff like that. Right. But a lot of times I think we forfeit those deeper embedded fruits, those richer fruits, those greater options for the here and now type of thing, right? And it's like,
is that you
know what I'm saying? You ain't helping nobody. You're not even helping yourself, I don't know, man. It's just stuff that I think about. But out of coaching, teaching, serving, doggone valeting, like all your different types of jobs, which ones do you kind of gravitate to? You know what I'm saying? Like naturally, like which one fits your personality the most?
Man, I think they all are different, man. That's tough. I think coaching is probably the thing that I would say is the most me, because there's different facets of it. There's the intellectual, you got to know what you're talking about. There's you got to know how to communicate this and make sure people understand and connect with this. And then you got to prepare. Like, it's just, I love doing that. Like, that wasn't a chore to me. Okay. Like, I enjoyed that process. Whereas, like, serving, valeting or whatever, that stuff that came natural. I mean, that wasn't difficult. That was just something I knew I could do really well. And, I enjoyed the challenges of it. And I like the tips aspect. Working for tips it's a fun thing it was fun for me. I was never entitled. Okay, let's talk. Can I just unpack this a little bit more?
Yeah, listen.
Sorry.
Because I've never really asked you your stories about serving.
Yeah, serving is interesting.
I know some stories.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But
so this new age, I ain't gonna say new age, but there's a lot of servers or bartenders expect a certain, like, or any other people working in the service industry, they expect you to give them a certain percentage or whatever, and if you don't, you're nobody to them. Okay. Like, if you're a bad tipper, you are the worst person on the planet. Okay. Yeah, and that's just what it is. So you could be a celebrity, whatever. You go out, you get great service, and you don't tip. You're gonna be talked about for the rest of your life. Somebody is talking about you because you didn't tip somewhere. Like, that's just how it is, man. Wow. And that level of expectation of, like, yo, like, I expect you to give me whatever. It's just like, yo, hold on, like. You can't do your job in this field and expect people to do what you want them to do. Like, that's just like, you gotta understand that they're gonna give whatever their heart desires. That's just how it has to be. The problem is there's a bad relationship between a lot of tippers and servers. Okay. So and the people in the industry, so people don't know to tip, how much to tip, if they should tip, and they think, well, you should just do this because of whatever, because that's your job type, whatever. It's all over the place. Yeah. So, like, everybody has a different opinion on tipping, and you got to know that if you're a server. Now, I know what my philosophy is. I think I'm smarter to go about it my way. Okay. But everybody got different philosophy.
Well,
what's yours first before I reveal my
my tipping philosophy?
Yeah, how you feel like tipping?
Okay, so first of all, I tip just about every service thing that I come in contact with. Any kind of, people that's changing my oil if I don't want to do it myself. People changing my tires, if I went and got some new tires put on. It really don't matter what it is, as long as it's someone that would accept the tip. I normally tip.
A barber.
So definitely. Barbers, massage therapists.
Yep.
Like, yeah, hands down.
Yes.
All of that stuff. So with me, it's two things. The only thing that I really consider myself to splurge on when it comes to tipping and stuff is my barber, right? Because that's a whole experience for me. It's like therapy. I get a chance to be still.
Oh, yeah.
Let somebody cater to what I want done. And they can do it better than I can, right? And then there's going to be instant gratification when I think I look better because of how he cut my hair. So, it's just like a recipe for a great day, a great vibe, a great season, So, I love that experience. Yes. And so I splurge a little bit more when it comes to that because that's my thing. Massage therapist, I used to be a therapist full time and I get that. But for the most part, in any other industry, I think if you like somebody change your tires, somebody change your oil and stuff, I normally throw them like a 20. And sometimes it's a situation where like, hey, throw this in the pool, y'all all go get some beers and pizza, whatever, or
of course,
type of thing. And then if I'm in restaurants, normally I just tip 20%. If they did a great job and stuff, sometimes I might throw a little bit more in there. But if they don't do a great job, then I won't leave them 20%. Okay. So that's my thing.
All right.
I think a lot of people probably do the exact same thing that I do.
Yeah, I think you are the majority of people.
Yeah.
Right? I think that you might be a little bit more than the majority because you tip people, like you said, like the people who do your oil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And some people don't do that. I mean, so that's not, that's not really up to me to decide who does what, but everybody doesn't do that much, right? Some people think, okay, you're supposed to tip here, you're not supposed to tip there. I think in any service industry, you can tip. That as long as you can take a tip, that's great. I like the spirit of tipping. I think it's cool. I think it's a really good thing to do. I think it's nice. I think there's a connection between there's appreciation for the service that you get from whoever it is, whether it's a barber, a server at a restaurant, any of the above. I'll tell you what my thing is first, and then I'll tell you what I think should be or whatever. So for me, at a restaurant, I think I tip 30% or more. And I will do, it depends on where I'm at, the type of service I get or whatever. I don't go under 30 that much. If I go to 20, it's because like you did nothing really or did barely anything to engage me. That's a pretty good tip. I'm a pretty good tipper, obviously, but there's a reason for it. Okay. I look at tipping like, okay, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna get good service, and if I don't get good service, I'm still gonna tip well because I'm trying to set a precedent that I will always be appreciative of the service that I'm getting from whoever all the time. And my thought process is, if I do this correctly on a consistent basis, people just gonna know, not just that he's a good tipper, he's a good dude. Like, dude, Dre's real. Like, he's really thanking me for what I'm doing, and he brings value to me because he sees that what I'm doing, it takes time and effort and money. You know what I'm saying? Like, so whatever. So I always tip good. And what has happened is basically places I go now that I frequent, like I get treated like a king. And it's just, and people are like, oh man, Dre, you know everybody, man. You just so connected. I was like, well, I treat people with a lot of respect, with the tips that I give, because I appreciate what they're doing for me. Right. And it comes back sometimes when I'm, dealing or working a game or a circuit or something like that, or doing a tournament, I can get tipped pretty well. People enjoy my personality or my confidence or the joke I said or how I talked about the thing that we talked about 3 weeks ago or whatever, you know what I mean? And ask them about his parents or his family, whatever. So whatever it is, that connection with people is really important, whether I'm on the serving side of it or on the tipping side of it. But I believe that if you do that correctly, you create this this community and this place where people just feel comfortable around you, and they go over and beyond for you at most times because they know at the end of the day, Dre does see that I'm trying. He sees me, he gets it. So like, I appreciate it. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do for him. And people will, literally, hey man, I know we said it's reserved, but like, we're gonna move this whole section out of the way and give it to you. Is there anything else you need? Like, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I get, and it's like, man, this is a very cool experience. I need to go everywhere but you. I was like, nah, you just need to tip.
Yeah.
Like, that's the game, man.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, Dre, and we can go shot for shot on this.
Anytime.
All right. Do you remember your biggest or best tip from one person?
Yeah, okay. I don't know. I can't tell this story correctly. Yes, I do.
Okay.
But you understand, I've worked at a resort where people just like tip like that.
Yeah.
They really appreciate it. And they were just like, yo,
yeah,
I got you. And there were some, if you bartended ever, you know what I mean? There's some, don't tell my wife tips you get. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, hey, Dre, I just need a couple beers, man. Here's $200. Just keep a tab open, whatever. I'm like, keep a tab open. Okay. All right. They have their drinks with the person, and the person has to go because they got to go. Huh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to go. All right. Thanks, Dre. Appreciate you, man. You need your change back? Dre, come on, man. You know what I'm doing. All right. I hear you. Yes, sir.
Real conversations.
Straight up. Yeah. Like, so, like, I had tips like that on a regular basis. Like, it was just like, okay.
Hold on.
Like,
hold on. So you was bartending, right? Mm-hmm. So did you ever? Because every time I think about this stuff, I would only love to be a bartender if I can put the little towel over my shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
What?
And clean out of them jars.
Because you want to talk to them, and then while you clean, while you clean glasses.
Bro, what? I love all of that ritualistic stuff.
Yeah.
The process of everything, and take your time, and
I mean, like it's every job that you get to have there's some art to it. You know what I mean? I think bartending is one of those, like, it's a beautiful thing. First of all, you're a mixologist. That's a thing. Like, you are, and you're a conversationalist. You're a mentor. You're a good listener. You're whatever you need to be. You're a best friend.
Sound like Jesus over there.
I mean, I'm just saying, bartenders, man, they get mad love, or they are not so nice. And I think that there's been a switch from bartenders. It's like, remember I told you earlier about servers and people who have this attitude, like, you're supposed to do this. And it's like, the servers can judge people more than anybody else because they see people and they just put them in categories right away. It's like, oh, this person, da-da-da-da. They just have a strong opinion about people right away because they've dealt with so many people like, these people before, so they just put them in a category.
Yep.
Like, you're not dealing with real people. You're dealing with just a bunch of different people you put in a certain category.
Wow.
And when that happens, you dehumanize them, and then the situation about you serving becomes more about you than about the person you're serving. So I think the relationship between tippers and servers are a little bit off, if I'm honest, just from what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I like to just feel like I can kind of, like, push through that with my tipping well.
Just tipping well.
And just, that's it. I mean, they just look at, okay, whoa.
Yeah.
You ain't got to tip like that. That's, I'm getting nothing near that from everybody else. This guy was very polite, was nice to me the whole time, whatever. Next time he comes in, hey, man, how you doing? Good to see you again. You want a beer? You want this, you want a Shiner Bock? They like, they know like the Texas beer. So, like, they, what do you want? Like, what do you need? Hey, there's a section over here. We got you over here, Dre, if you need it. Like, you'll see. I mean, you already know. You're around enough.
So, and then the other thing too is, and I brought it up a little earlier today, talking about one thing that we have the luxury of doing that Animal Kingdom doesn't do or can't do is, like, the situation we're talking about now, about where somebody can sit down and get served by somebody and bring them food. Like, you would never see that in the Animal Kingdom. But that's something that we so extra about. Like, what? How do we ever get here? Anyway, I don't know. I'm very appreciative that we have this as a thing in the world. Yeah. It's a cool thing. I don't know if it's going to always be around, especially with the whole, COVID stuff. Who knows what's coming down the line? I ain't heard nothing. I'm just saying, But one day we might not be able to live life this way. Yeah. And it's such a cool thing to have. And I'm sure we lost a lot of things along the way that were really cool that we used to do. And now they're forgotten. And so since they're forgotten about. But as long as we have this right here, to me, it doesn't get too much more human and relational and societal than to have a community set up where you can be served food and stuff, like have an experience is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, man, I understand that, and I appreciate things like that all the time.
Them experiences.
I mean, I watch Food Network every day, just watching all these experts at their craft do what they do, and that community being built, through just making food that we want people to enjoy and taste. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know, all of it for me.
In 30 minutes.
That clock's crazy, right?
Yeah. So I was going to tell you the biggest tip that I've ever received. I was
golf.
No, it was actually tied, but this was by one person.
Okay.
Yeah, the golf one was kind of weird to figure out. So
I got bigger tips doing gambling. So I mean.
Oh, see, yeah. So you probably got thousands.
Like,
not me. Yeah. I was just proud because I ain't never got nothing this big, bro.
Right.
So mine was actually no. Okay, I'll tell you about my biggest tip in golf also. So as a therapist, I was working on this lady. She was in her mid-60s, but she was still in great shape, very active. I think she might have been an attorney or something like that, some intellectual job, right? And very wealthy. Her and her husband were very wealthy. They both were in the same line of work. I just can't remember what it is at the moment right now, but something very prestigious and everything. So this was around 2007, 2008, maybe 2007, I think. And this was when Obama was getting all this buzz the first time.
Okay.
Right, running for president. And she came in and she was talking to me, and this is when I still had a clean face. She's like, "You are so handsome." I was like, "Thank you," and we were while I was giving her a massage, she was saying, she said, "It's good to see young black men working and doing things." She said, because when I was growing up, this lady, like, she might be in her 70s.
Right.
She said, when I was growing up, I saw my people never give black people a chance. She said, I saw some of the worst things you ever. She said, so I've always had a big heart for black people because my family members and my people did black people bad. So she was like, so she said, so I love Obama. I love that he's educated and he's a great leader and all this stuff. And she says, and I want you to vote for him too. I ain't talking about if I voted for him or not. But then, and we had a conversation. She gave me a book about some medical stuff. She was a doctor. That's what.
Okay.
She gave me a book about some medical stuff and told me to read it. And then she gave me a $300 tip, bro.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, biggest tip I ever got.
I mean, that's cool.
And
the spirit of it, though, like, again, that's good. Like, it's just like, man, I'm so, happy to see this and proud of this.
Yeah. So I guess it was less about me and more about what I represented.
Yep.
I appreciate it. She represented.
And did a great job.
Well, I'm sure I did, but she the MVP of that situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, but that blessed you, and you never forgot it, right?
Yeah, you're right.
That's the thing. Like, those things are important.
Good point.
And I think, at the end of the day, tip whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you what to tip or how much to tip or anything like that. But I am here to say this. In the spirit of what tipping is supposed to be, if you're in a situation where you're being served and you're having somebody do something for you that you can't or won't do for yourself, I think it's a good idea to tip. If you don't want to tip at all, do it yourself. Yeah. Like, whatever it is, do that yourself so you don't have to worry about the tip part, because if somebody's doing something for you, I think a tip is generous. And I'm not saying necessary, but, man, it goes a long way. Yeah. And if you want to, have a community of people who think the same way and move the same way, I'm not saying exactly like how you think and what you think. Me and D just disagreed in this actual episode. But I'm saying, like, about just being good people. And I think that's a good way to do it. I always, go for that because I think that's the easy way to connect with people. And you don't have to be crazy about how much you tip because, I mean, obviously, like budget your money how you need to. But I think that we can, we look at it a little bit differently. It won't be such a taboo topic. You know what I mean? Because some people don't tip and some people won't tip. Man. And I'm not mad at you. I just got a different perspective and I just shared it with you. So hopefully you heard my heart.
That's good. That's strong. And speaking of community, I was caddying for this group of golfers, right? That's the closest I can get to a community right there. But so this was 10, 11 years ago. Okay. I was caddying at TPC Sawgrass. Yeah. And I was caddying for this group in the Canadian Pro-Am. So what that means is with a pro-am tournament, you have one pro and some amateurs, and they all play together. They kind of do it on when they play. I can't remember the course right now, but one of those courses, famous courses on the West Coast. But so I was caddying for this group, and we had a phenomenal 3 days. I think it was like overcoming adversity and all that stuff, and we ended up tying for the win during that tournament, right? Mm-hmm. So then the next year, those same guys came back, requested me, but then they had a different pro playing with them this year. Mm-hmm. So we went through same thing, actually won the tournament, right? So they each gave me like $20 each, but then the pro gave me his whole set of golf clubs. They weren't even out yet, and he was like, "Hey, because he lived in Canada, he said, hey, my season is over. I can't play any more golf. You did a great job. The guys did not let me down. They told me that they had this incredible caddy last year. We had to have them this year.
That's awesome.
And he said, you exceeded my expectations because it was a great experience,
That's
right?
Awesome.
So he gave me his whole driver, hybrids.
Bruh.
There was blade irons. They hard to hit, and wedges, bag, and everything. But you won't believe how much hate I received. Because, like I said, he's Canadian, so the bag was a Canadian bag. Yeah. Anytime I walked anywhere, there was like, effing Canadian. I was like, what? When did we have so much hate for Canada? Canada. No disrespect.
I'm sorry. That's
right. Oh, Canada.
Man. Oh, man.
They want to build a wall and build a ceiling, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we want to keep the South in the South and the North in the North.
Nobody
anyway.
Else. All right, Game of Thrones.
But that's
you don't even know you're doing Game of Thrones references.
I'm doing Game of Thrones?
Bro, you got to watch it. You got to watch it.
Listen, I'm a king. I'm a king.
All right, man.
Anyway, man, that was fun, man. I enjoyed that.
Always fun, man. Always fun getting in here, chopping it up with you, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Stay locked in. Share this episode with somebody else if they need to hear it, man. Let's have a lot of fun with this. And let's keep going. DJ Talk.
Tell what's going on. Nobody gave me nothing, did it on my own. You say you like my music, but don't play my song.